accounts while trying to plan both retirement and emergency funds.
See, NPS is a bit like plasticine that you used to play with when you were children. So tier 1 is this long-term money which technically you're supposed to withdraw by the time you're 60, by the time of retirement. Tier 2, I can put the money today and withdraw the money tomorrow. And when they want to retire, that is the time they will move their money from tier 2 to tier 1 with the full tax benefit at that point of time.
Hello and welcome back to our very special series on the National Pension Scheme, the NPS. If you've stayed with us till now, you have already opened your NPS account, which, as Shubhashish mentioned earlier, is extremely simple. So now, our case study for this particular episode is 38-year-old Arjun. He is confused by tier 2 and tier 1 accounts while trying to plan both retirement and emergency funds. So you did mention this before that long-term savings is comes under tier 1, but I believe there is also a more flexible option for those who may want to withdraw sooner or invest for a relatively short amount of time. So could you explain to us what tier 1 and tier 2 accounts are all about?
See, NPS is a bit like plasticine that you used to play with when you were children. You can mold it the way you want it. So what NPS has is two types of accounts. Think of one as a retirement account, something like a provident fund account, which you contribute and withdraw the money when you retire. The other is more like a short-term savings instrument. You can think of it like a bank FD or like a mutual fund where you put money for shorter periods of time to meet certain goals. And when you want the money also, the money is available to you at an emergency. So tier 1 is this long-term money which technically you're supposed to withdraw by the time you're 60, by the time of retirement. Tier 2, I can put the money today and withdraw the money tomorrow. So it takes care of both your short-term goals as well as your long-term goals. The beauty of it is that the fund management charges, which globally is the world's lowest for long-term retirement product, is exactly the same for tier 1 and tier 2. So you're getting the benefit of the tier 1 fund management charges in tier 2 also. And most fund managers tend to manage both the funds in similar manner. The returns are very close to each other, if not exactly the same. So in tier 2, you put your money today as much as you want, whatever you want, withdraw whenever you want, whatever amount you want, or let the money remain right till the end.
All right. So how would a tier 2 NPS investment differ from something like a mutual fund? Because they sound quite similar.
Okay, so first of all, to open a tier 2 account, you must have the tier 1 account.
Right.
So it's like tier 1 is the pizza, tier 2 is the toppings on top. You can't have the toppings separately.
Yeah.
So you need to have a tier 1 account to have open a tier 2 account. And see, one of the things about any short-term savings is that many a times we don't have a discipline to carry it forward. Sometimes liquidity also makes it that chalo, whenever we have, we'll withdraw the money. Except tier 2, because it is linked to tier 1, though it is completely flexible, at the back of your mind, you'll think at least once. That should I withdraw? Should I withdraw from some other source? Or let the money be there? I should withdraw as less as possible. So those are the reasons why people put money in tier 2. In fact, I know people who want complete flexibility. So they have opened a tier 1 account with just 1,000 rupees and park most of the money in tier 2. And when they want to retire, that is the time they will move their money from tier 2 to tier 1. It will be treated as a investment into tier 1 with the full tax benefit at that point of time.
That sounds like quite a hack. You keep it in a place where you can probably withdraw it more freely but you still end up reaping the benefits of long-term investment.
To the extent that the money is still there. If you withdraw it, you can't.
Of course, absolutely. So then, is it equally easy to withdraw from either account? Like, can you withdraw from tier 1 and tier 2 as freely?
No. Tier 1, you're not supposed to withdraw till you retire. Except under exceptional circumstances. For example, tier 1, you can withdraw only thrice, up to 25% of your incremental contribution in the entire tenure till the age of 60.
Right.
Tier 2, you can withdraw whenever you want. See, the thought process of tier 1 is retirement. The thought process of tier 2 is a savings instrument. So tier 2, you can withdraw whenever you want.
Right. So it makes like a whole, like your long-term plus short-term goals.
So basically, the way you should look at it is that you don't have multiple folios of multiple savings instruments with you. In one saving instrument with one PRAN number, You're able to operate both your long-term gains, both your long-term needs as well as your short-term requirements. That's the
Right.
beauty of it.
Right. So, you mentioned that there are tax benefits of tier 1
That's right.
withdrawals, right? So, could you explain to us the difference between taxation for tier 1 and tier 2 accounts?
Okay, the tax benefits are really in tier 1. There is no tax benefit in tier 2. So, in tier 1, you have 3 tax benefits under old tax regime and 1 tax benefit under the new tax regime. In fact, it is the only financial saving instruments that gives you tax benefits both in the old and the new tax regime.
Hmm.
So let me explain to you the tax benefits. The first is the 1,50,000 80ccb1, which all of us are aware of, which is you can put your insurance premium, you get a deduction. You can pay your house rent interest, house loan interest, and get a deduction. And your contribution into provident fund, you get a deduction from there. All that is a 1,50,000. Then there is another deduction of 50,000 rupees, which is 80ccb1b, exclusively for NPS.
Hmm.
So you don't get that benefit unless you invest that 50,000.
Right.
And additionally, there is 80ccb2, which is company's contribution towards your NPS. In the old tax regime, it is 10% of your basic. In the new tax regime, it is 14% of your basic.
Hmm.
In fact, I would like to repeat, in the new tax regime, under the 80ccb2, you actually have virtually no other savings instrument in which you can save money. Tax
Right.
saving, that is.
Right. So then, how much would you recommend that people kind of, asset allocation? So, how much would you recommend that people 1,50,000 you should put maybe in your PPF or any other such instrument,
You're talking
ATCA,
about old tax regime or new tax regime?
either? Or does it make a big difference?
Yeah, because in new tax regime, you have no tax benefit other than NPS.
Hmm.
In the old tax regime, you have one benefit, which is the 1,50,000, which is common, but the 50,000 next, which is 80ccd1b, is exclusively only for NPS.
Hmm.
So if you have that surplus and if you're not investing, you're losing out on the benefit of the taxation in that, because your
Right.
entire money is being invested. Otherwise, what would have happened? You would have paid tax, and from your tax paid income, you would have been lower, that you would have saved.
Hmm. Right. So in the new tax regime, you would say, because NPS also, it is the taxation benefit is for that 50,000 amount, right?
No. In the new tax regime, the benefit, that 50,000 is no longer there.
Hmm.
Up to 14% of your basic.
All right. So the taxation benefits kick in either way, whether it's old or new tax
The
regime.
difference is that in the old tax regime, you can, as an individual investor, also invest and get the benefit of 1,50,000 first. Second is the 50,000. And third is the corporate contribution on your behalf of 10%. In the new tax regime, as an individual investor, you don't get the benefit. Only if you are coming to the corporate route and your company has offers you NPS as a facility, then you get the tax benefit. If you are, to get your earlier example, a gig worker, you don't have a permanent employment, then you don't get that benefit. But having said that, you know, you don't get tax benefit in most of the savings.
Yeah.
So you should save anyway for the benefits that you have of a very low fund management charges. In fact, globally, the world's lowest fund management charges.
Understood. So you would, I mean, now consider that my salary is say 1 lakh per month, right? So how much would you advise anybody to maybe invest in tier 1 and tier 2 NPS on a monthly basis?
See, firstly, I would tell you this: if you are working in an organization and the organization offers NPS, if they don't, talk to me. I'll come and explain.
Make them offer NPS.
Make them offer NPS. I'll come and meet your relevant people, your director of finance or your HR head, and make sure that they offer NPS. So that 10% of your basic, you can invest as company's contribution. They'll invest on your behalf. That has to happen. Balance how much you should invest depends on your calculation on how much money you require for your retirement. That is something that you need to do, because you will have other investments also.
Yeah.
This is not the only savings instrument that you'll have. You'll have your provident fund. So you need to see what else that you have, how much is the inflation rate that you assume, what kind of lifestyle you'll have, and then back calculate. For you, you have 1 lakh income. If somebody else has another 1 lakh income but has other liabilities, then the calculations can be very different. Yeah.
Well, that should have explained to you all about tier 1 and tier 2 accounts and where you should park your money. So it also tells you that it's not just for retirement, but also a long-term savings scheme, and you can look at NPS for that as well. More on this topic in the coming episodes. Stay tuned.